Hi, my name is Adam Cox. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and founder of phobiaguru.com, and I'm known as the UK's leading expert at eliminating phobias rapidly. Today we are talking about coulrophobia, which is the fear of clowns. Coulrophobia is quite well known in more recent times because there has been many incidents that have highlighted the fear of clowns through social media. The original case, though, that really put this idea of killer clowns or serial killer clowns or evil clowns on the agenda really was John Wayne Gacy, who was an American serial killer. He was a sex offender, and it was discovered later, was a clown, a part-time clown, a performer. So he was then known as the first killer clown. What's crucial to know about John Wayne Gacy is that he didn't actually kill anyone or attack anyone while dressed as a clown. It's just that the connection was made in the media of him being a clown who then went on to become a serial killer. Obviously, since then, in popular culture, you've got movies and the Stephen King book It, which features Pennywise the clown, this very sinister clown. And you get variations of this. The puppet show popular in British seaside resorts such as Punch and Judy, you've got a jester, often with a clown face, attacking and being violent. So there are these kind of themes throughout history of clowns being somehow malicious or evil or sinister. And I think that has propagated this idea of clowns at some level being dangerous. When you get media stories about danger linked with a particular stimulus, in this case clowns, that can fuel the prevalence rates of a phobia in the same way that we saw with the movie Jaws in the 1980s. The number of people that had a fear of sharks rose rapidly because effectively they were anchoring an emotional state of anxiety to the stimulus of sharks. When it comes to coulrophobia, although around about 12% of the population are estimated to have coulrophobia, I would say that is a very high estimate. I believe that number of people don't like clowns. They don't actually like watching them, or they find them a bit creepy. But that isn't the same as a phobia. A phobia is simply by being in the presence of a clown, it would bring people to the verge of a panic attack, and that's very different. The overall strategy for most people dealing with a phobia is avoidance. And I would say in the case of fear of clowns, it is one of the easiest phobias to avoid. If you don't like clowns, simply avoid the circus and avoid watching movies that feature some kind of sinister, evil or murderous clown. That's relatively easy. In 2018, however, what caused a big problem for coulrophobics was the killer clown craze, where pranksters would dress up as clowns, often with machetes and chainsaws, and have pranks of being murderous to freak out unknowing strangers and passers-by, to freak them out and then film their reaction. And a lot of these videos went viral. Now, while most people treated them as something quite silly, it did create copycats that then went on and dressed up as clowns. Many Halloweens around that time had an increase of people wearing clown costumes, but with this kind of murderous element to it, so blood or weapons and things like that. For most people, the actual stimulus of becoming a coulrophobic, having this fear of clowns, actually isn't a clown. Quite often, it's simply someone dressed up as something else. So many children, I think, are quite rightly nervous of adults dressed up in costumes. And a clown is simply a costume. And it's very difficult to read the facial expressions if someone's wearing clown makeup, in the same way that if someone is dressed as a Disney character or in a costume or a Santa Claus, it becomes tricky for a child to read their intentions through their facial expressions. And that can create what's known as a sensitizing event. So there's two main ways that people get any phobia. First is a sensitizing event, so they have a bad experience normally as a child. And the second is that they learn it from someone in their family. So if someone in your family doesn't like clowns, it might be the reason that you don't like clowns if you're watching this and you have coulrophobia. I've worked with a few people with coulrophobia, and it's actually relatively easy to break this phobia permanently. And the key to it is to get people thinking not about the superficial exterior of a clown and what they look like, but to think of the person behind the actual makeup and the costume. And then that can actually reduce the anxiety massively. So there's two main ways that I work with people to eliminate their phobia. The first is that I've created an online course. It's a 7-day course that you can just kind of go through a series of downloads, and that can really break the very foundation of the course. And the other way is that people work with me one-to-one. So if you have clown phobia, the thing I really need you to understand is that this phobia is relatively easy to eliminate permanently. So if you are interested in working with me or finding out more information about coulrophobia, which is the fear of clowns, then what I would suggest is to click the link in the notes, which will take you to a page all about coulrophobia, where you can get a free video explaining how phobias are created, why we have phobias, but also information to enable you to work with me directly or to find out more about this 7-day course. If you know anyone with coulrophobia, feel free to share this video with them. They might find it useful just to know that they don't have to keep having this phobia. And equally, if you have any questions or comments to make about the fear of clowns, or maybe the first time that you got scared seeing a clown, maybe the most terrifying clowns in history, just no images please, but just put the comments and then I can respond to any of those points. Hope this video has been useful for you, and take care.